Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance still coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Picking Up the Pieces. We've got a lot of update stuff for you guys tonight. Um, I know there's a lot of questions. Have I heard from Princess Fhaie? Um, you know, how are you doing? What's going on? What's going on, Danny? Good to see you. So we got a lot of folks who've got a lot of questions. We're going to try to cover as many of those questions tonight as we possibly can. Sit back, relax, share the stream out. Um, we got a lot of folks to touch base with. It's definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Not yet. Um, Not yet. But we're gonna go ahead and kind of cover our bases. She's been busy working on her stuff too. She's got a big channel to operate. She's got her YouTube channel, Twitch channel, plus a podcast. That's a lot to take care of. And I know she still wants to help, but she's got to take care of her stuff too. Oh, tell them I said hi. They can probably hear me if they're that close. So let's kind of cover our bases tonight. I know a lot of folks have got a lot of questions. Normally we wait about 5-10 minutes, but the big news today, we'll go ahead and start off with the big news. Daryl Prince Magnum got a promotion today. That's kind of a promotion, you might say. Uh, what it boils down to is when I went back to work for McDonald's as a maintenance man, um, I took on the challenge of 2 stores. Well, today I was approached today to take a third one, where I'll be going down there and starting the process of restoring their equipment too. The fry vats and grills and things like that, restoring them to the working order because McDonald's does have an actual, what they call the McDonald's gold standard. That's a corporate thing. But I actually push to have the equipment operate above that corporate standard. So, in essence, it saves the stores a lot of money. So now I'm doing it in 2 stores, and starting next week, I'll be doing it in a third store. There's even talk that I may be taking on more than that too, where I'll be basically 6 days a week. I'll be all over the place, and then they'll be basically paying me pretty well. Plus, they're even going to be throwing money into Project Lena's tank along the way. So that's the big news. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. Now, along with all of that, because of the big promotion, uh, I'll be making bank. Okay. There's talk right now as well that while I'm doing this sort of thing, they're even talking that in they're basically, I mean, everyone got a bump in pay, and right now, Princess Fhaie wanted me to get set up working where she was, evidently. Um, but the money I would have I'm making the same money right now doing something that, doing basically with the standing that I'm going to be making a whole lot more money by the end of the year. So I'm better off doing what I'm doing right now as opposed to what she wanted me to do. And um, by Monday next week, what's going on, J Dog? Good to see you. By this time next week, all of the bills that Princess Fhaie left me with, all of the backed up bills will be caught up. And we'll be looking ahead, actually getting all of the, basically looking ahead, um, getting bills paid beyond where we're paid now. So we're looking at now where I'll actually be paid up, 3 and 4 months down the road on, say, like the electric bill, the internet, car insurance, stuff like that. All of the bills, including rent, will be paid in addition an extra 6 months in advance. Because I foresee that Princess Fhaie will end up home in some way, shape, or form. Which we're now past the 5 minute marker. It's been a little over a week ago I heard from her. And a few of you have actually, kind of talked with me outside of, basically outside the stream, outside of the channel. So you kind of know what's going on. She called basically like, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Everything's great up here. Now, folks, bear with me a second, okay? She doesn't realize that I know what I know, okay? And it's on the heels of basically saying, look, you're getting evicted from your apartment. I know she was handed that eviction notice already. So her and her sister are out. They're getting ready to probably foreclose on her parents' house. So in that regard, everything's great up here. I'm working. She was trying to tell me that she was still working for Walmart. Folks, I know better than that. They sent the team that's involved in basically taking away all the finances so Princess Fhaie would have no choice but to come home. They were already they had a confirmation where no, they don't work for us anymore. These folks do not work for us. So the guy Will is out, okay? Her mother, out. Princess Fhaie, out, okay? And then there was confirmation from Comcast that her dad and sister don't work for them anymore. Right now, the objective is to get boots on the ground. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the stream later. So she doesn't realize that I already know this, but everything's great up there. She tried to make it sound like she wasn't really paying attention to the channel. She's not as good of a liar as she used to be, okay? And it's one of those things, I knew better, okay? So in that regard, she kind of threw herself under a bus. Because it's one of those things, it's one of those things, you already pretty well know what's going on at that point. And I told her, I said, sure it is. She's like, what do you know? Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I said, yeah, it is true. I said, there's an entire team right now. I said, it's technically out of my hands. I said, they don't want you to be an OD statistic. Well, there's no drugs. I said, oh, really? I seen the drugs on your dang desk, okay? I knew what they, I said, I already talked to the professionals. We already know what it is that you were taking. There's no drugs. There's no drugs. She kept trying to lie. Yes, there is. And you transported them across state lines. I said, so you're looking at federal charges right now. I said, you better hope to God they don't decide to open this up and take a good close look at it. And she's like, there's no drugs. It kept trying to lie. And then she tried to lie for her dad on that little stunt. Now, folks, you got to remember, she'd been telling me the story about her dad, basically sexually assaulting her from the time I met her. Well, met her playing World of Warcraft all the way up until a couple weeks before she left. And it was the same story. Oh, you're misremembering it. I said, I don't think so. And, so it was a lot of that. Well, I want a divorce. No divorce lawyer is going to look at this case, okay? Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, okay? She's in more trouble than she thinks. The little stunt of, when she left a lot of work undone for the channel, work that she had promised. And she was working on the channel. Faye's Corner is gone. Surviving Romance is defunct, okay? There was work that was supposed to be done by her for Project Spirit. This is all disruptions to the channel. Now, this channel is technically a business. You got the Teespring store, the Patreon, and any donations that come in from you guys. So already she's in a lot of hot water just with that alone. Hang on a second. I think yeah, it did what I thought it was going to do. Okay. There we go. We got her fixed. Give me just a second here. Okay. So she's basically full of it. All right. Now, any lawyer that looks at this is going to say, you skipped out on a business technically. And if you know anything about it, and it refers to the troll laws, but in this case, it's still the same. Okay. Even though it's not a troll. For those of you who've got good sized channels, if someone tries to troll you and, does the mass report stuff and things like that, and obviously it's not true, any disruption to your channel is a disruption to business, and you can actually legally take them to court. You can get a subpoena, and even a VPN company has to relinquish that information on that on their customer via a subpoena. Now, when that happens, you can then take that person to court. So in Princess Fhaie's case, because it is a disruption of business, we don't know the estimation, but I would say at least around about $1,000 worth of business that's been disrupted here on the channel alone. Just regular business. Then you figure if I have to send Project Spirit off to be done, have any work done or anything like that, and it costs me, I can also have that charged to her as well. Now, because I won't actually go after Princess Fhaie, I'll pin it on her family and any lawyer that she decides to try to talk into doing a divorce. Yeah, it'll turn into that. Like, look, you're disrupting the business. She needs to come home and get cleaned up. So you're going to pay now. And no lawyer's going to want that kind of heat. Even if it doesn't even make its way in front of it, even if a judge says, I can't, no. It's still going to be out there. So no lawyer's going to look at it. Then on top of that, Princess Fhaie left a lot of stuff here. I'm paying the rent here. So technically speaking, she's been, I'm paying for her storage. She's not living here. And because she left and still on the lease, she broke that lease. So along with that, we the place that does does the renting, they can charge her now. They can charge her for it. On top of that, because she broke the lease, her name's on the lease. On top of that, like I said, I'm basically storing her stuff. $50 a day sounds fair. She's been gone for over a month. These are things that she didn't think through. Now, why would I even consider doing something like this? Why would I even go, even bring this up? Folks, you got to remember, if the bills pile up, she's got no choice but to come home. So it's just a matter of, get your head on straight, okay? So these are things that she did not think through. And I won't charge if she comes home. So that's what we're looking at, okay? Again, she was really talking out of her head. Oh, this isn't true. This isn't true. And by the way, everything that went wrong is all my fault, okay? Folks, it takes two to tango. And alcoholics and addicts love, 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 love to pin it on somebody else. That's what she was trying to do. I spot all this stuff a mile away. It's like that. Now, again, I know Tracy, yes, we've been talking about that. I talked to her a little over a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, and I figured I would wait because there was somebody that I was supposed to talk to on confirmation of certain things. But to our knowledge, Princess Fhaie does not have a job. She won't be getting a job, considering the situation. Her family is also minus their jobs, and their house is about to be foreclosed on. And I know Princess Fhaie and her sister got evicted from the apartment that they had. And because of the type of eviction, they're not going to be able to get another place. So that's the end of that. We're getting ready to turn up the heat just a little bit more. We'll talk about that down the road. But when we talked, she was really talking out of her head, trying to make it sound like it was all hunky-dory up there. Folks, I know better. I know better, okay? If we have to turn the heat up just a little bit more, we will. But currently right now, Princess Fhaie is also facing, she's, because of the drugs, and like I said, we brought the professionals in. I even have one of the leading therapists out of Florida who's actually been helping me out a little bit. On top, so it's not just, the next step is to get boots on the ground. Zelda, you make me nervous when you get up there. That's the next step. And their job will be just to make sure yeah. I already figured out how to handle that because her stuff is still here. She left a lot of stuff here. I can actually charge her for storage. And technically she broke the lease by leaving. So because she hasn't been here for a whole month, technically speaking, the company that owns this apartment complex can actually charge her for any rent, any back rent they want. Even though I'm paying, she broke that lease and they could actually charge her for it, which I am going to suggest. Okay. So, and along with all of this, officially, this past Friday, her car no longer is on the insurance. We took her car off the insurance. The only car that Princess Fhaie can legally drive is Project Lena. And that would mean if she wants to drive, she's got to come back to Missouri. Her car does not have insurance. I took it off the insurance. It's no longer insured. And that's officially of this past Friday. Now, we were going to talk about it over the weekend, but then, like I said, I've been trying to get in contact with a friend of mine and let her know kind of what's going on. And we're still waiting. We're still waiting. But currently, right now, I am doing financially, I'm okay. I'm okay. All the bills will be caught up by this coming Monday. They'll be caught up to a point where we're looking ahead at paying the bills further out than where we are right now. I got a promotion today. Pretty much. I'm pretty well sure that the mortgage company Will be for if they haven't, they probably will be foreclosing on her parents' house. And I know she was already evicted from her apartment. On top of that, um, I mean, there's a lot of paperwork. Well, see, the thing of it is that's not 100% accurate. That's not accurate. Okay, there was a lot of stuff that she did on this channel. No, her parents live in a nice neighborhood, but I'm just curious what all the neighbors think of living right next door to, a guy who's gotten away with being a sexual predator. Okay. I honestly wonder what they think about that. I mean, she's in a lot of trouble. Okay. And again, I'm going to urge the Deloge Police Department to push that investigation. Okay. It's time. What are you guys waiting for? You know, for the people to die of old age? No, get on it, man. Because you guys got to remember that, we're talking about the fact that, I mean, she's in a lot of hot water if they go forward with it. And I know they'll find it. Okay. It's not like these people are that smart. Okay. So we're now at a standpoint where, Princess Fhaie is, I mean, she's in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. You know, it is what it is. I mean, I know she's going to be hard headed about it. I know she's going to sit there and go, oh, it's all hunky dory. But no, it's not. It's not hunky dory if you're sitting there, you know, facing financial ruin. Hey, what's going on, Bitsy? So that's kind of where we're at. And please don't use my real name. I appreciate you. Yep, I know it has been. Um, it's we're now at the stage where we're the next step is to get what I call boots on the ground. Now, folks, if you don't understand what I mean by boots on the ground, that's where folks are actually making sure that jobs and places know and putting it out on social media in the actual area what's going on, keeping her name at the forefront. Okay, that's the objective. Because if we can do that and keep her, in a situation where, you know, where it's financially difficult. Well, see, the thing of it is Oregon is actually that entire state is kind of under siege right now. Um, and the police department up there in Beaverton. What's going on, Grave Taker? Yes, happy Halloween, happy late Halloween to you. So let me break it down for you guys, okay? Let me break it down for you guys. Um, what I mean by boots on the ground is basically keeping it active in social media in that area, okay? I mean, I could put it up there and anybody could put it up there, yes. But if you have what I call boots on the ground in the actual area doing it, it'll make more sense to the folks that live there, okay? So she doesn't have, she's got the car right now, but the thing of it is with what's going on, Craig? There is news, but the objective right now is right now, I mean, everything's starting to fall into place. And whether she likes it or not, she's kind of being left with no alternative other than to come home. That's where she's at right now. Now, if any of y'all want to help, Okay. We need as I was saying, boots on the ground. Okay. What do I mean by boots on the ground? Again, keeping it active in social media up there, because if she doesn't have, if she can't get a job, she can't get a place, and her parents are losing their home, and they can't get jobs, and her sister and everything, and no one can get anything, then what ends up happening is she's forced to come home. Now she might try to go with other family, but I highly doubt it, because they're not going to want to be on the S list, if you know what I mean. Because we got an entire team behind us actually helping with getting her home. So, which I have not been in touch with the leader of that team, but we're trying to get in touch with. They've been busy. They've been very busy. So we're now at that stage where everything is set. Now, that doesn't mean that in the background I'm not doing some of my own stuff too. I am. Um, we'll talk more about that after it happens. So right now, the objective is to get enough heat still. If you want to help. No, she's not. Her car no longer has insurance as of Friday. She's driving without insurance. It is, if she's pulled over and does not have insurance on her car, they'll give her a nasty ticket with the intent that they may try to take her driver's license away, which they can do that. Okay. And if they pull her over and she's under the influence, she'll get an even bigger ticket, which I know she does drive. She likes to drive under the influence. So, again, if you know anybody in the Oregon area and wants to help, get in touch with me. My email is princemagnum1@gmail.com. You guys are welcome to help, okay? And even if you're not in that area, but you know some folks that are, give me a shout, okay? Thank you, Crash. Appreciate you. So that is our next objective. Get it out there, okay? The objective right now, again, is just to get what I call boots on the ground. She doesn't realize I know what I know. I know she doesn't have a job, because we even had confirmation from Walmart that her mom and her and the guy who was dealing her the drugs all been fired. We had that confirmation like 3 weeks ago, maybe further back than that. And Walmart has kind of dropped the ball a little bit on this. They have not pushed for the to get the police involved. They have not pushed. That is where Walmart has probably absolutely failed on this. If they push for the investigation, they'll find more going on. Now here at HQ, we're doing good financially. The bills are being caught up. The bills are being paid. Okay. Yes, we have. That's how we got the confirmation numbers. That's a good question, Dave. Yeah, but they're not really pushing, because if they had by now, I would have gotten a phone call to directly point them in the right direction, because I have more information than they probably got in certain areas. And of course, the police departments usually always have information, a lot more information than we have too. But I've got kind of an inside track that they may not have. So that's kind of where it stands right now. The objective, again, is to get enough heat going that she has no choice but to come home and kind of face the troubles. And again, y'all got to understand that I am not doing this out of spitefulness. I'm doing this because I'm trying to save her. Okay? You guys got to realize, I know there's some of you out there that are like, oh, heck with her. It doesn't work that way. Okay? I put the ring on the finger because I do love her. I love her a lot. Okay? Love her more than most people can imagine. But the problem is that when you talk about someone like myself, and that sort of thing, um, you know, and saying, hey, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't have put the ring on and everything. You got to be willing to go to any lengths, okay? And sometimes you have to cross over into gray area. Sometimes you have to do things that sometimes morally you wouldn't do. But we're back to, if if you're for real and you really mean it, do it. As long as you're not, breaking any laws, you're legal. Do it. You got to be real about things. If I wasn't for real about this, I wouldn't be doing it. Okay. But I love that woman more than she can ever imagine. That's why we're doing this. Okay. So that's why we're going to any links. Okay. Again, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't do it. Okay. Plain and simple. So I already know that, her family's in financial dire straits. And if we have to, we'll go even further. Okay. If we have to take more jobs and all that, if we have to keep going, we will. Now, is this easy to repair afterwards? Of course it is. Of course it is. It's easy to repair because in 3 months, most people will forget all about this. That's just kind of the nature of it. Everyone will be too busy focusing on her, trying to get her right. Okay. Which is our objective. Okay. To get her get Princess Fhaie, my wife, Miranda, the help she needs. Okay. She's talking out of her head. And I mean, like I said, she's not as good of a liar as she thinks she is anymore. Okay. So the objective now is, goodness, it's all good. Neighbor accidentally hit the horn. You know, if you want to be boots on the ground, well, okay. I know there's been a lot of ladies that have said that calling her a disgrace to womanhood because the surviving romance series, and I'm going to tell y'all, okay, I'm not without my flaws in this marriage. Okay, I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes in our marriage. All right, I have. That's just the nature of being married. Okay, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna hurt the one you love. It's just That's just kind of how it is. Life is life. Okay, you make mistakes along the way. So I'm not saying that she doesn't have a right to be mad at me for some of the things that has happened in our marriage. She does. She has every right. What's going on, Raven? She has just as much right as anybody else to, she has every right to be mad at me. Okay. However, the you have to understand that she's also, that's not true. See, again, my happiest moments hopping into okay, okay. When I finish up here, I might, if you're able to, I'd like to run a couple with you. But you guys got to understand, okay? She's not better than me. If anything, well, are any of us? Are any of us, great masterpieces? Awesome. We're all in the, we're all flawed. Last time I checked, none of us walked on water and none of us glow with holy light. Even though I know that how to do that trick walking on water, I don't have that kind of resources. Okay? But I know how it's done. Oh, here we go, right? So again, I got a promotion today from work. So I got a promotion and it was a nice little promotion. Um, I've been working out of two stores. They're giving me a third one, and with the intent of paying me even more. Okay, so that's the big news right there. That basically I got, I'm getting a promotion, and they actually bumped me up in pay quite a bit, because they were doing it for everybody, but I got a nice little bump, and I'm actually the job that Princess Fhaie wanted me to take before this entire mess. Ironically enough, I'm making more than that now. So, unfortunately, I'll have to spend a little bit of time behind the wheel of Project Lena, but hey, it is what it is. But starting next week, I'll have three stores that I'll be working out of, not just two, with the intent that I may be ending up with more. And there's even talk about me ending up with a company vehicle. So, sweet deal, right? Where I'll be traveling around to some of the stores and doing some pretty cool stuff. Um, a lot of it bent on training people. Well, and again, I know you guys got to understand, addiction is mental illness. Okay, it's a fact of life. I've lived with my addiction for years. Okay, and even though I've been sober as long as I am, the only difference between me and another guy walking in the rooms of AA is just time. Now, Princess Fhaie, she wanted to keep on keeping on. She wanted to do her drugs, basically. And she didn't want any obligation of doing right. We've taken that away from her. Okay? We've taken that away. But it's still going to take more boots on the ground than ever before. So I'm reaching out to all of you for you guys to reach out to me. What's going on, Third Gen? Good to see you. So that's kind of where it is. Now, like I said, in that phone conversation almost 2 weeks ago, she was talking out of her head, but she kept saying, I want a divorce. I don't care how long you're not getting a divorce. Number one, you can't afford it. And number two, no lawyer is going to be dumb enough to take this case. They're going to look at it, go, this is too hot to handle, honey. Too hot to handle. Colleen, I know my wife, and I know her very well. Um, she's in drugs. That's where she's going to be. Okay. Now, we've all done things under the influence that where you sit there afterwards and go, well, that was pretty dumb. And if you're an alcoholic or an addict, but honestly, if I know my wife, she'll do it around family, and then her dad will try to take advantage of her. That's what he's been wanting this whole time. It's only a matter of time. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Okay, which is sick. Eric Carter, you're a sick man. I've met some sick people in my life, but you take the cake, brother. Dang, that's your daughter. I got nothing there. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, things are looking up here, but the objective is for me to, while you guys are also helping be the boots on the ground, the next objective is for me to financially set everything up, because with the financial setting everything up financially, I would be more apt to believe that she would get drugged up and then end up in one of those predicaments, because she has a knack for getting into trouble, getting herself into bad situations. That is my wife. My wife definitely fits the whole scenario of a cat, just getting into trouble, if you will. Okay. You know how some cats just find a way to get themselves in crazy predicaments? Well, that's my wife. My wife has the mentality of one of those mischievous cats that gets themselves into trouble. That's just her nature. So financially, that's not true. I don't believe that. Okay, let's run through it real quick. Princess Fhaie has helped develop a character that is now credited for the birth of a child and has saved a few marriages. Okay, along with that, has helped countless people become comfortable in their own skin. She has helped a lot of people in that regard. Along with that, she has, without a question of a shadow of a doubt in my mind, helped a lot of ladies become inspired to get out there and work on their own projects. That's right. She's probably inspired unofficially more women in the custom car community than ever before. Okay. So, in that regard, she has helped a lot of ladies find themselves and find their talents. Along with that, her artwork has inspired many other artists to pick up their artistic skills and get to work on it. She's inspired many people in so many different ways. We don't know the amount of people that she's possibly helped and stands to help even more. So, in that regard, you're absolutely wrong because, you know, again, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the husband. Yeah, she's done it through my channel, but she has done it. Okay? Plain and simple. She has done it. Just because a person has a problem with the drugs and alcohol doesn't mean that they're a bad person. They're a sick person trying to find their way in this world. And I don't know about any of you all out there, mental illness is no joke and should never, ever, 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 ever be discriminated. Okay? We should still be as inclusive to everyone, even if they have a mental illness, which that includes drug addiction and alcoholism. Okay? Any addiction for that matter. Okay? Never, ever, okay, discriminate for that reason alone. We should never discriminate for that reason alone. If a person gets cancer, are we angry with them? No, we're angry with the cancer. So if a person ends up with a drug problem, should we be angry with them? Maybe their actions, but them for having an addiction? No. What's up, Raven? That's not true, Butterfly. That's not true. I've met many of people in Alcoholics Anonymous that have done amazing things. They've turned it around. She has the potential to turn it around. Our job is to provide make it difficult for her to keep going down the avenue that she's going so she has the opportunity to come home and turn it back around. That is our goal. And I will say, anyone who's not on that train with me is just as much a part of the problem as her drug addiction. Okay? You're just as much a part of the problem. She's not a bad person. She's a sick person. Okay? We all have our hang-ups. Mental illness is a fact of life anymore. And we should never discriminate against mental illness. We should never discriminate against anyone who has mental illness. And thank God times have changed. Okay? Thank God times have changed. I'll tell y'all right now, I'm glad that we have advanced past the 90s as far as mental illness goes. We did talk about it. She's talking, the shortened version of it, she's talking out of her head. She doesn't realize. Okay. Holler at me. I'd like to go. I don't know how good I'll be, but I'll do my best. So, in a nutshell, Princess Fhaie is struggling with mental illness, and it comes in the form of manic depression, uh, drug addiction, alcoholism. It is what it is, and we've got to get her home and get her straightened out. And I ask that everyone get on board. If you know anybody up in the Oregon area, you know, okay, well, I'll be there. I'll be there. We're getting ready to wrap this one up. But yes, she's talking, the short version of it, she's talking more and more out of her head. She doesn't realize that I know what I know. And then she's not very good at lying anymore. Grand total of 44 likes that I could see. Thank you all so very much. I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. But again, share this out to everyone you know, especially if they live up in Oregon. Okay? Because the more folks that we can get up there that can that assist with this and getting her home and talking to the right people and that sort of thing, then we're on the right track. 45, thank you so very much. Appreciate that. That is our goal. That is our objective. And again, we're trying to get her away from her family. That is, they're bad news. Bad news. Especially her father. Okay, again, he sexually assaulted her when she was 14. That's why she's so screwed up. I'm not saying I've been without my flaws in this marriage. I've fucked up many a times in the marriage. But that's normal. You're nobody if you get married, nobody goes through the whole marriage without screwing something up. Everybody does it. That's just a fact of life. But the objective is to get her home, get her the help she needs. And then if she still wants to leave, hey, fine. Just not back to that. Not back to the life you're trying to live. That's not a life. That's just wait until your next fix. And she deserves much more than that. Again, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't be saying this. I would have already said, well, it is what it is. Let's move on. That's not the way it works. Okay? Y'all have to understand when you put on that ring and you say I do, it's for better or worse, rich or poor, sickness or in health, till death do you part. And even though they didn't, that's not the vows we took, by golly, I still heard the words. And I'll tell y'all right now, this world needs Princess Fhaie. This world deserves Princess Fhaie. Hands down, bar none. She is amazing. I know it, and we've all seen it. Gratefully, I will tell you that I would go to hell and back for that woman. And in a lot of ways, I already am. So here we are. Again, I got a promotion today, more or less. I'm no longer working out of 2 stores. I'll be working out of 3 starting next week. And the nice thing about it is I got a nice little bump in pay. Our owner operators are, they really have a lot of faith in me to do the job that I'll be doing. And I really thank them for it. I appreciate them for doing it. And I'm not saying that in case they're watching. They don't watch my channel. They know it exists. That's about it. That's what's up. And I appreciate them for having a lot of faith. All the bosses have got a lot of faith in me. And there's talk that I may be even moving up a little bit more before the end of the year at this rate. So congratulations, dear old Prince Magnum, right? So that's what's up. Put in the work and show what you got. And now, it's paying off. It's really paying off. That's exciting. So thank you guys. And again, continue to share this out to everybody you know. This particular one, we're gonna tack it on to the playlist. So I definitely suggest that all of you, continue to watch the playlist and share the playlist out, picking up the pieces. You know, we've got a lot of ground to still continue to cover, and we've got a lot of high hopes in helping Princess Fhaie get the help she needs. I believe that we can do it. As the YouTube community, we can do this. We can go and make this a happening thing. But it's up to us. We have to be the ones willing to go to the length that it's going to take. And again, if you want to help, shoot me an email. Unless you already got my outside of all that contact information, shoot me an email. Prince Magnum 1, numerical 1, all lowercase, no underscore, no nothing. Prince Magnum 1 at gmail.com. And we'll get out there and we're going to do what we can. Okay? We need boots on the ground. Okay? It's up to us. Okay? As the YouTube community, as the Maverick Nation, to reach out and save my lovely wife. Because I do love her. I love her more than anyone could ever imagine. So now as we've come to the point in the evening where I do need to wind down, I'm going to go hang out with some friends, play some Save the World. Before I have to call in a night because I got to be back at work tomorrow morning. I clock in at 4 o'clock a.m. This is exciting. So as we begin to let out for the evening, I want to say to all of you, if you haven't done so, get over to the main page of the Prince Magnum channel. There's the links for the Teespring store. There's also a link for the Patreon account, okay? You can now become a member of my Patreon team, the High Mileage Club. And all proceeds will go into helping Project Spirit for $1 a month. Okay, you'll be helping the content here on the Prince Magnum channel. So get over there and smash that membership button, and you can then help the Prince Magnum channel continue the car content that we're going to be having to really try to focus on a lot here very soon. So now that I've said that, I say to all of you, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourselves. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, especially my wife, if no one has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.